Okay. So hi, very, very good evening, ladies and gentlemen, sisters and brothers, friends and well-wishers. Very, very warm welcome to Her World India Talk Show series. As always, we are here with another theme, another set of speakers, and how delightful our journey has been to have you all. Even during the time of pandemic, we've continued our shows. We've talked to medical experts. In fact, all kinds of sectors and experts we've brought in here on this show. We've been mainly focusing on issues related to gender, but of course, we've also looked at issues which are of contemporary importance. And today, of course, it's a very, very proud day, I must say, and I can't resist beginning by congratulating Mirabai Chanu, who's brought the silver medal at Tokyo Olympics for us. And from Her World India and from even my guests here, I'm sure they're joining me in here in congratulating Mirabai Chanu from Manipur Northeast in bringing in this honor for all of us Indians here. So congratulations to her. And here we begin about the women power. And we thought, why not on Her World India, we should also take up a theme, which I think is, I feel, less addressed, but we must talk to some of these people, some of these women who are, bringing you, crafting the world of literature, and they are the women publishers. I'm very delighted to also joined by Dr. Bijay Lakshminanda, the principal of Miranda House, Policy Center and General Lab of Miranda House is a partner. And we've been bringing in themes together, coordinating on issues of importance. So let me begin by first welcoming both Kartika VK, who's from Wasteland, and also Aditi Maheshwari Goel from Vani Prakashan. Welcome both of you.
Thank you.
Hi, it's a pleasure to be here.
Kartika and Aditi, of course, let me begin by saying that Kartika, of course, also comes with a rich experience in publishing industry, somebody who's had vast experience in handling some of the names which are supposed to be big, Penguin to HarperCollins and now Wasteland, and also some of the very, I would say, known writers to maybe not known who became known because of the kind of publishing which happened or writing which happened. Kartika brings to the fore a vast experience in terms of publishing industry. And I really, really welcome her. So let me begin by asking you, Kartika, first of all, thank you so much for joining here, is to, not stereotypically, but, how has it been? Because I was reading that even worldwide, when we're talking about America, it was not easy for women to actually get into this industry. It was still supposed to be a new terrain, isn't it? How would you really look at this journey that we've all taken from world to India?
I think actually publishing is a fairly fortunate space to be part of because there are a lot of women in here by design or by accident, or actually by simply the fact that when we all started out a few decades ago, it was also very poorly paid. So men wouldn't touch it with a barge pole. There were no expectations of having, sudden climbs up the ladder, making lots of money. All of that was secondary from the trade expectation. The men who did come into it came in because they didn't want to do anything else, because they really wanted to be in publishing. And I think that kind of gave women a little bit of an advantage to start with, in editorial in particular, so that they knew that they were in a place where they could flourish and where their skills could be put to the best use. And there wasn't that much of this male club bonding, at least in those days. It's probably very different now. Things have changed as in every other industry. But yes, in the 90s when I started up, it was a good place to be. So one could grow with much more or fewer roadblocks than in other places. The caveat there is that it was always editorial and marketing that this attached to. When you were in sales and you were a woman, then there was always an issue as far as the others were concerned. I mean, traveling was always a problem because, as I said, it wasn't the best industry to be part of in terms of money and expenses. Therefore, you often had to stay in very sort of cheap places. Male colleagues spoke about, taking Haryana Roadways buses with truck, with
How
cartons
interesting
of
all these
books
inputs are.
to
Yeah.
sell, so they came from that kind of start. So you didn't really have women getting into sales in the early days. So things progressed differently once all these things changed in the industry. But that was really the good fortune about joining in the 90s, where you got a head start and you got an even playing ground. So there's not that much to complain about for editors from that time.
So let me talk to Aditi again, the editor, the managing trustee, somebody who's really, really handling it all as far as Vani Prakashan is now concerned. But I was just reading, Aditi, on a lighter note, you wanted to be into medical science, and then, your father wanted you to be in arts, and finally you have landed as a publisher. How does it feel taking up that journey?
The first few days at the BDS class were very good because the college was very prestigious. But then I understood that it is going to be a very white world. It is going to be a very colorless world. So didn't want to. So after cracking the PMT, getting into the medical school, then telling my parents that it's not happening, it's not working for me. And then my father coming back to me and saying, I told you, study arts. That's the way the world works. he was more than happy. He and my mother were more than happy for me if I took the decision of repeating the 12th grade with arts as my subject. They would have been very happy. But then fortunately, I shifted the stream in the graduation and got into Delhi University, got into the literature course, and then the life changed immediately.
How happy we are that you're here, actually. In fact, I would like, Dr. Nanda, that you can always come in between, and somebody who's also written books, somebody who's very interested in the world of reading and writing. So you can always come in, Dr. Nanda. Any words right now here? Dr. Nanda, welcome.
Thank you, Rakhi. And I guess we are all celebrating the win of Mirabai for India's Olympics. I think that's there. Publishing for academics is a major part of the rituals of their promotions and the rest of it. It is a part of the community's work per se. So, and our students do veer towards the publishing, as a job, especially from English literature. So I feel that it is important also for college students to get the exposure as interns, and they do join. I know that Kali for Women, which used to be Kali for Women, or Women Unlimited, used to take in a number of interns. So I would like both Aditi and Kartika to reflect upon how we could improve the quality of editing and other kinds of things in the college as a skill development, because this is what the Policy Center and Gender Lab, along with Her World India, is trying to do. We are looking at two things. One is to improve their skills in an industry which is open to them. Like you said, publishing industry is a little more open to women joining them. So we would like, you have already made that foray. So that step is already there. So they just need to, go there. They have to move towards that. So that's one. The other point that, we have been talking with Her World India is to look at startup initiatives and how we as a college could offer an incubation lab around publishing, around maybe small kind of publishing, initiatives that any young person would like to take up. So these are the two kinds of ideas I thought I would throw up in this particular discussion that is taking place. And we have an established relationship with Rakhi Bakshi through Her World India. And our commitment is to engage with young women as leaders. So we see this as an incubation lab in itself. So thank you.
That's where it is. I mean, that's
Yes.
the news, and that's a very happy news, and you're sharing it here. Thank you so much. I'm sure it enthuses both my colleagues here in publishing there, of course, in a different sector. But as this is a women's club today, so Kartika, you were talking about challenges, but we're looking at agenda for change. I mean, publishing and then women. Earlier one would think that, oh, women subjects, feminist writers. How do you think there is a transitional shift into what is happening in publishing, and how women are handling it?
So a couple of things. One is that in terms of the kind of publishing that is happening now, I think there is a lot more diversification that has happened. So in the beginning, even writers, even women writers found themselves writing somewhat closer to their own lives and experiences, and autobiographical writing, etc., was more prevalent. And now that's gone. I mean, people are confident. They're writing about all kinds of things. They're writing about politics. They're writing about travel. They're writing about things that were usually considered the male preserve. And those women are being edited by women who may not necessarily be specialists in that area, but who are sort of generalists, and in that sense, they can tackle most anything. So trade publishing houses typically have those who are not necessarily capable of doing only one kind of reading or editing. They could be working on a novel today, or they could be working on a text of philosophy tomorrow. So I know that in the morning today, I was working on edits for a business book about startups, actually, and how entrepreneurs, what kinds of organizational skills an entrepreneur needs. And just before this, I was working on a book on Gandhi and Ahimsa. Now, they're completely different worlds that we're working on, but we kind of do all of that. And I think that is really the thing that has changed publishing as well. The fact that a customer, the reader, the writer, the producer, who is the editor of the publishing house, are all looking to do multiple things. And that again ties in, Nanda, to what you were saying, that this is the thing that we entirely lack at the moment. While there is a greater diversification of subject matter and kinds of writing, etc., the problem we have is lack of diversity of people in the industry, especially in editorial. I mean, there is a certain kind of person who comes into publishing and editorial roles. They come from middle class or upper middle class backgrounds. They come from the bigger cities. They come from the upper castes, or at least the privileged classes in some way or the other.
Very important inputs, yeah, very important.
Yeah, so the kind of people we have, and therefore the kind of things they see and think they should publish or work with, are also in a certain direction, right? They look at certain sections of this country and this world. They do not go anywhere beyond that. And the thing that you are talking about, incubating publishing, getting more people into publishing, I think the important thing is there to try and get people who wouldn't look at this as a career, or wouldn't think of themselves as being editors. If they would start coming in, if we could have stories from small villages, forget the small towns and the 2-tier and 3-tier, that's okay, that's being done. But our villages do not exist in our stories in English, except as tokenism, or as very amateurish beginnings of storytelling, right? So there's a lot that we need to do, and this has to be
I think
something
what you said is really touched me also. I think this is one very significant point, and that in fact relates to this question that I'm going to ask Aditi, is that Aditi, at the same time, in Hindi publishing, you were talking about, I mean, not you per se, but it's been talked about that publishing in Hindi has to modernize. So, you know, on the one hand, Karthika is talking about going to villages. On the other hand, from Hindi, you're trying to make it broader, the horizon vast, and, you know, making Hindi more popular, but also bold, if I may say that.
So, Rakhi ji, going back to Professor Nanda's two important points that she talked about. All of us have mixed feelings about FYUP. And we, although feel that it was not executed the way it should have been, but the plus point of that course was that Cluster Innovation Center, I'm sure Dr. Nanda would relate to what I'm saying. The Cluster Innovation Center that was formed under FYUP, it gave us space for students to explore subjects like publishing. So Professor Sukrita Paul Kumar, who was the chair of Aruna Asaf Ali chair at the Delhi University at that time, she got me in to design this course on narrativizing, editing, and publishing. And here we had kids in my classroom who belonged to biology, zoology, mathematics, Sanskrit, Hindi, English, chemistry honors, BCom pass, BCom honors, all of them coming together to study narrativizing, editing, and publishing. So this course ran for good 3 years, and I'm so blessed that many of these students are now in the industry, both in news industry as well as in publishing industry. They have gone out to do another course with National Book Trust, which is a vocational certificate course for publishing, because we don't have any degree oriented certification course for publishing industry. So that course really helped us understand how the younger lot that is ready to get into the industry is looking at the publishing industry. And we understood there are so many loopholes. There's not one but many black holes, because they don't understand how this functions. Plus, as my senior from the industry, Kartika, just said that this a very specific kind of skill base is needed, very importantly in the editorial department. So no, and you will not believe, the topper from my course in the first, second, and third year, for example, they were not from Hindi or English honors. They were from some very different courses. So publishing is an amazing potboiler. Amazing kids can do from, I mean, things kids can do into this industry from various streams. I mean, sky's the limit. Now
You were talking about mentoring also. You were talking about how, because we were talking about this whole management process. I mean, when you become a publisher, when you're a writer, of course, you're also managing a lot of things creatively. But when you're a publisher, then technically also you're managing a lot of things. So
Right.
what would you talk? How would you talk about that?
Because there is no professional degree course training, for example, for understanding the alleys of publishing industry. What I was mentioning is that mentorship, and today is Guru Purnima, it's just the right day to say this out and loud. A lot depends on mentorship in this industry, because if you don't get the right mentor, I mean, you can get really disillusioned at times. Kartika just mentioned that how it has been an unequal space for so many decades, and now perhaps in the third decade of 21st century, we are seeing some kind of level playing field constructing before our eyes. But trust me, as far as the languages publishing is concerned, everyone has done everything. My training, for example, includes from tying the bundle to making sure that the transportation department takes care of our bundles, because we are in Hindi language publisher. We are really operating at the grassroots levels of the country. So we have to understand कि हर जगह ट्रेन नहीं जाती, हर जगह बस नहीं जाती. हरियाणा ट्रांसपोर्ट, आप कह रहे हैं, आप हिमाचल ट्रांसपोर्ट का सोचिए, वो जो पहाड़ पे
अंतरदेशीय बस सेवा.
तो भारतीय भाषा में पब्लिशिंग आपको देश दिखाती है, और सच कहें तो वो एकदम लग्जरी से बहुत दूर है, लेकिन बहुत फुलफिलिंग है, क्योंकि मुझे ऐसे लगता है कि हम चाहे किसी भी भाषा में बहुत बड़े बड़े प्रोफेशनल काम करने, लेकिन जो हमारे अस्तित्व की बातें हैं, जो हमारी अस्मिता की बातें हैं, जो हमारे दिल की बातें हैं, वो हम अपनी भाषा में ही कर सकते हैं. अब ये बात, एक बहुत बड़ा सवाल मेरे सामने आया जब मैं MBA पढ़ने गई. वहां पे बी स्कूल में जब बैठे बैठे ये बोला गया कि एक फाइनेंस की क्लास चल रही थी, तो उसमें एक सवाल ये पूछा गया कि आपके प्रोडक्ट की आपके प्रोडक्ट की लाइफ साइकिल क्या है. अब किताबों की लाइफ साइकिल क्या है ये तो किसी को बताने की जरूरत नहीं है, लेकिन अगर आप उसको फाइनेंशियल टर्म्स में इक्वेट करने की कोशिश करें, तो जितना समय, जितना एफर्ट एक किताब को निकालने में लगता है, उतना अगर आप बिजनेस मैनेजमेंट के दिमाग से सोचेंगे, उतना एक टूथपेस्ट की कंपनी अगर आप लगा लें, सो देयर विल बी अ ह्यूज डिफरेंस. लेकिन फिर भी किताबों की दुनिया
आई थिंक
इन सारी इक्वेशन से अलग है. इन सारी
मुझे लगता है कि यहाँ, हाँ, क्योंकि एक क्रिएटिव फील्ड भी है, बट एक तरह का मैनेजमेंट भी है. तो आई थिंक यू आर मिक्सिंग. सो Kartika, would you like to come in and say, ये बहुत ही, again, it's a very stereotypical maybe a question, but you know, again, the male domain and now the female, taking over as manager there. So it's motivating many a times. I was just reading some of the interviews of some other publishers, maybe worldwide, but also frustrating at times, because you have to deal with so many things, and then you have also somewhere to prove.
The thing is that despite level playing fields and changes, etc., if you look at the reality of publishing in India as also in the rest of the world, at the very top, at the level of the CFOs and the CEOs, and the people who actually therefore drive the conversation about finance, it's usually men. And there are very few women who are in that place. I often think it's because women have been reticent about putting themselves there. It's that old thing about, oh, money, I don't know if I can handle that part of the business. I'm okay where I am. I want to be publisher, but I don't want to be CEO. I've been guilty of, saying things like that and thinking things like that as well. It's a kind of reluctance to step up to that role as well, which is then balanced by the fact that there are a lot of men who are very happy to take those positions and live in those positions. So it just makes it one of those things that become the obvious pattern. Okay, the women will be the creative people and the men will drive the business end of it. And that's really, I think, how most of the Western and English language publishing space has grown. I think in the Indian language space, a lot of the publishers are family-owned, old businesses, traditional businesses. And I think there, it's a matter of the family also working towards training and bringing people who are part of that system. Whereas I don't know of too many businesses which are traditional, but which have brought in entirely professionally trained women in leadership positions. I think they're like two different things that are happening here. And I don't know if I can quote even one example. Aditi, I don't know, but I know the Malayalam world fairly well because I'm from Kerala and I know something of Hindi and other places. And I see that the places where women step in are the places where there is a gap, where there are, edgier, smaller, agenda-driven indie press sort of identifications possible. Like somebody wants to start a children's publishing house, which caters to a certain kind of audience, or somebody wants to set up a publishing house that brings in writers from the Northeast who are very underrepresented in the English language. So you would set up, and they would start up there with an agenda and a purpose in a way that, you can only admire, but the pandemic has caused such havoc in that space that we have to wait and see what happens now, how much of this can survive and how much of this will remain at the sort of mainstream level, and the indies who tried will be forced to push away for a certain time as well. So there's just so many things happening at this point. The whole industry is in a churn because of the economic condition.
Okay, Dr. Nanda, would you like to also come in here and say something? We were talking also about the language publication. Can you?
Yeah. Thank you for that. And I learned a lot by listening just to Aditi and Karthika and your questions, Rakhi. I would like to say that the college, Miranda House, has a very active Northeast Center. And we have been wanting to work on this issue of bringing in writings of the Northeast students and reflecting on that particular diversity. There are young students who take out a magazine, but as it is with college magazines, it becomes like one of your internal journals. So we need to bring those voices out there. I mean, and there is a lot of focus now on being out there. I think, Karthika, you said women are not ready to put them out there, but with social media and the kind of social media influencers that are there, and young women wanting to be, in the forefront of that particular, influencer build-up, that is there. But however, the regional diversity is not reflected. So we within the Northeast Center are trying to do that. We are trying to capture voices, bring in narratives. The other thing that we're doing, and Her World India is one of our partners there. The other thing that we are trying to do is that we are engaging with the idea of a multilingual lab. Under the National Education Policy, there is a focus again, Aditi, you might be happy about this. There is a focus again on languages, all languages, regional languages. We do have a modern Indian languages course running in the college. We have Bengali, we have Tamil, Punjabi, and so many other subjects. So there is a focus on that. And young students are showing propensity because of the fact that they are now located in their very regions because of the pandemic to translate various stories which are in Hindi or in English into their regional languages. We have created an audiovisual repository of that. So how these are all happening at college levels. It's very, very exciting work, very stimulating work by young women who want to be out there, but the only thing they have is their social media handles. How do we bring about a collaboration with publishing houses like yours? How can we create a certain space for them? Because these are
Kartika, would you like to
different-
maybe come in here, both of you, Kartika and then Aditi?
I think that the internship route is a very, very good route. That the most students who are interested, who can come in and spend time in publishing houses and figure out what their interests are and how they can do something together. That's one. I know that we often collaborate with colleges in terms of getting writers to speak to the students. We have, I'm not entirely sure of your college, but I know that there are colleges where there are programs of creative writing and reading. And so writers go in and speak to them, help them figure out what they want to do with their own writing and how they see their career as writers, if at all that's what they want to do, etc. I think that's a very important channel, that rather than remain in silos, publishing, publishers, academics teach. I think we need to combine these two, and we need our people to go out to colleges, which is so easily done. There are people in any city or any town, we'll find writers in some language who will be able to go out and talk to the kids. And once they actually meet people who are in the field, whether it's at the end of writing or publishing, I think they look at it far more seriously and with a certain intent, which is lacking when they don't have that kind of interaction. So I would say internship, interaction, these are the two crucial beginning points, after which you can do things like institutionalize that and say, okay, every year you do one issue maybe, which focuses on a certain kind of writing, or bringing in writers from different places, or get someone to guest edit a college newsletter or literary newsletter or something, which is what, say you get an Amitabh Ghosh to say, I'm going to pick 5 essays or stories that the children have written this year. And we're going to put those 5 stories out on social media and say that these are my favorite stories from what I got sent. Now, that would be a huge thing for the students to get picked by someone as, like a writer like that. And word of mouth would begin on their writing. And it's so easy to do that in this time and age. All you need is to connect the dots. All you need is one person at your end, one person at a publisher's end, people who are happy to sit down, have this conversation and say, okay, let's go, let's do this. And
I think here we are. I think these are very constructive ideas also coming up. And I think session is really, I would say, in true words, meaningful and turning out to be. Aditi, यहाँ पे थोड़ी बात और हिंदी में ही सही कि ये भी कि अगर आप हिंदी में पब्लिश कर रहे हैं तो क्या ये प्रेशर है कि हम किस तरह के नए थीम्स, किस तरह के नए आइडियाज, किस तरह के अवतार में अब आए, क्योंकि एक पूरा वर्ल्ड है जो बहुत ज्यादा, शायद जैसे कि कार्तिका कह रही थी कि वर्ल्ड और यूनिवर्स है जो प्रिविलेज्ड और ऊंचाई से देखता है। तो अगर हम वहां जाएं तो हमें फॉर एग्जांपल कि क्या बोल्ड थीम ले या एक्सपेरिमेंट करें या क्या करें क्या ना करें, तो आपका क्या इसमें सुझाव है?
राखी जी, आपके पिछले सवाल का एक अंश अनुत्तरित रह गया।
अच्छा, बताइए जरूर।
इस पे थोड़ी सी बात कि भारतीय भाषाओं में ज्यादातर प्रकाशन कहीं ना कहीं किसी परिवार में की जड़ में होते हैं, लेकिन ये अंतर्राष्ट्रीय स्तर पर भी होता है। अगर आप बड़े conglomerates को देखें, so they were started as family managed businesses and then they grew into whatever they have. So the idea, there is an often juxtaposition, oxymoronic juxtaposition of trading, traditional publishing vis-a-vis professionalism, which is very, I think we've grown older from this conversation.
Okay.
Because most of the publishing houses in the Indian languages are hiring the best of human resource that is available in terms of designers, in terms of sales managers, in terms of editorial managers, editors, etc. So the atmosphere of working and learning in the language publishing is amazing right now. So now coming to your point of creating an international buzz or creating a
new vistas of literature. Yeah.
World here. I think languages have always been experimental. आप अगर 50, 60, 70 के दशक में जाएंगे हिंदी साहित्य के इतिहास में, तो आपको बहुत सारे एक्सपेरिमेंटल किताबें दिखेंगी जो आज के लिए भी बहुत बोल्ड और बहुत मानव की मानी जाती हैं. लेकिन इस समय आपको भी पता है कि पिछले साल we did 3 to 4 experiments that really did well. We did erotica collection and we announced that we will be publishing it every year, which it is a part of life, and we thought that in Hindi we should start talking about, and people like senior journalists like Jayanti Ranganathan came on to support the entire program. Then there was Vani business program, because there are fewer business books, entrepreneurship books in Hindi for Hindi audience. And that's why this imprint was launched, and it's been really loved by younger lot, and they are reading a lot on startups, on technology startups, on how to understand an IPO, for example. It is such a big question for the young Hindi readers, so we are bringing books on this. So such such endeavors that are just very I mean, अगर आप खुली आंखों से देखें तो ये आपके सामने थे हमेशा. इसको बस समझने और इसको as Kartika just said, it was just the need of the hour was to just join the.
But I mean, quickly now, Kartika, in terms of themes, in terms of picking up subjects. So, for example, delving with, as Dr. Nanda said, academics to now sports, to maybe celebrities have always sold so well. I mean, if they write, would you like to talk about where we are in 2021 and what are we picking up?
I think it's quite
as far as
अच्छा, अदिति कह रही हैं कुछ? हाँ बोलिए. आप कुछ कह रही हैं?
हाँ, so मैं ये बोल रही थी that the students who are good in designing, who are good in translating, these are the two fields I personally felt when I was teaching publishing at the DU, that these two fields can attract a lot of talent pool, and some bit of handholding, some bit of training can really get the kids going. So entrepreneurship cells, as far as publishing is concerned, can really incorporate projects on these two streams, and the mainstream industry with internship, with handholding, with some kind of experience holding, can really utilize the raw talent and create something very constructive out of it.
I think we're already making a kind of a design here on the show itself. So I think after this offline, we can always take it ahead.
Yeah. To answer your earlier question, I think the difference in the last few years has been that there's a lot of interest in nonfiction. Earlier, people wanted to read the stories, the novels, and so on. I'm talking about English. The English language publishing place is now full of nonfiction of politics, history, popular history, sports. I mean, we recently published a book on Duti Chand, and I was looking at the responses to it. And it was, really interesting to see people who are not necessarily readers looking at this and saying, but this is a story I want to engage with. Similarly, if you do a book on, say, something recently that we did called Lady Doctors, which is about the early women in Indian women in medicine. So we're discovering that subjects like this, which attach to our lives and our past or present in any sort of direct way, seems to be the place that readers want to be. They're happy to read fiction from around the world. They pick up books, US, UK, bestsellers, whatever. When it comes to fiction, they don't seem to be that interested in what is new in literary fiction in India. But they are very interested in what is new in the nonfiction world. So that's where we are seeing the growth, and we are finding it difficult to reach readers at this time because of the logistics of the pandemic. But I'm really hopeful that once this is passed, this area will continue to grow. So we'll have more and more reality in our reading, more and more real stories, which means that we'll be able to get different people to come and write in for us. Because you have experts in sport, you have expertise in medicine, you have expertise in so many fields, and they've not seen themselves as writers. They've seen themselves as experts in that field. And this is an old tradition in the West, right? We've had great writing from medical men like, say, Siddharth Mukherjee, who happens to be Indian, but almost Indian. But, so that kind of thing that is happening in India now, with expertise and good writing combining to make narratives that everyone wants to read. And therefore, we hope it'll be backed by volume and sales and so on. So I would see that and track that as the biggest shift that's happened.
Very delighted to actually get all these inputs, and I think I'm sure people who are watching also, and after this it will be available on YouTube. I mean, more people can watch it there. I think it's been a very engaging and informative and insightful session. Is there any question anybody wants to ask? Because after that we'll have to really wrap up In fact, there's another show coming up, which I am part of, is about, again, writing only. So today's the day of looking at women and writing. Anybody asking a question or wanting to pose anything here? Or any young person who has a question, but I am sure that Dr. Nanda has already
May I come?
indicated. Sneh, you want to come in? Okay.
Yes, Mama, I have a question. So being a very young writer, just passing out from college, how challenging it is for people like us to get into the publishing industry and get our books published for that matter?
Shall I take that, Aditi?
Yeah, Kartika.
I want to say that it's unfortunately very, very challenging because it's a very small industry. There are only so many books that are published and there are only so many publishers. It is very, very difficult, but there are two things that will allow you to break out of that. One, you write a great book. Nobody can stop you. Age has nothing to do with it. There will be a publisher. Two, if you don't find a publisher easily, just go out there and self-publish. There are platforms now for self-publishing. You have avenues for self-publicity. You have a little bit of money, put it into friends who can help you publicize it. Like, go do it. Don't stop yourself because some mainstream publishing houses are not, interested in publishing you at the moment. They have their compulsions and their numbers, but you don't stop yourself. So I would say you can get published, yes, but you may choose to find other ways of getting published, not just the old original.
So self-publishing is something that, of course, we are now talking about. Aditi, the pandemic, as Kartika just referred to, and we were talking about some of the bookshops. We saw them shifting locations, and we saw that this whole world of literature, writing, publishing, of course, got a little hit. How would you really look at the challenging times which lie ahead, Aditi?
रोटी कपड़ा मकान और इंटरनेट इस देश की सबसे बड़ी जरूरत है. किताबें इसके बाद आती हैं. ये बहुत बड़ी सच्चाई है जो प्रकाशन की दुनिया से जुड़े हुए लोगों के लिए बहुत कड़वी सच्चाई है. But having said that, Rakhi ji, the response from the readers has been overwhelming. For example, the day lockdown was lifted, the day the operations got back to normal, we were flooded with book orders. And thank you to all the readers from your platform, because they have been very supportive of all the new publications. For example, last year, when immediately after the lockdown, we launched two of the very important books that were delayed for obvious reasons. We ran into second imprint within 3 weeks for both the books. And it was unheard of before. I mean, we hadn't seen that kind of rush before. So I think, and of course, the digital reading has has got its due focus that was needed from last decade or so. But having said that, I think one of the biggest challenge that's going to be there in the coming years is the way publishing houses were experimenting with the new voices. They were taking risks with the new voices. That is going to go down for a bit, because the risk-taking capacity of mid-size and bigger publishing houses have lowered a bit. Secondly, the brighter side is that people are waiting for good books, because it is a gloomy world. We don't know what happens to us tomorrow. Spirituality, intellectual engagement with some good discussion, spending time with the family, staying home, not going out, that has changed the overall temperament of the society.
Very true.
That is reflecting on the book sales.
Sure.
So if the market is open, then books are doing very well. And of course, we hope that it just remains like that.
But if I bring in my thoughts, I would also say that there are, in terms of the whole profiling of readers or the kind of situations they were in, I think some of the issues which I'm sure that might come up now, for example, you talked about spirituality, you talked about family connections. So mental health, for example, as an issue, which a lot of people experienced or tried to understand, which I'm sure they earlier thought was an alien kind of subject. So I think it always also creates new vistas. As I always say, that crises always creates opportunities of a different kind altogether. So of course it's been time of I would say coming together also, because we all felt it together. We still are dealing with it, but I'm sure that women like you, women who are standing there solid we'll do much more. I hope that I had more time to really discuss things. And in fact, I'm really, really tempted to say that I want another edition maybe very soon, where we can take up more issues and deliberate on that. I think it's been a wonderful, wonderful time for me, personally speaking, Kartika and Aditi. Any last word that you'd like to quickly share?
No, just wonderful to be here. And I haven't met Aditi in a long time. It's good to at least meet virtually colleagues once in a while. So thank you for setting that up as well.
We'll be connected. And Aditi, thank you so much. Anything you have to say? A lot of people, maybe your potential readers, writers, whoever.
For 12 years in the industry, this is the longest hair length of Kartika ji that I'm seeing.
Yes, I know. Really long, isn't it?
So yes, and I think this pandemic is bringing out a lot of writers, is giving courage to a lot of young writers to go out, approach the publishers. We are listening. All I want to tell them is that we are listening. We are all ears for a good manuscript. आपको हमें ढूंढने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी, हम आपके पीछे आ जाएंगे. आप please.
How sweet is that? And Dr. Nanda.
I want to also say, Dr. Nanda, that I think all that you said, I hope we can do something with that in real terms. Thank you.
So maybe the vote of thanks coming from Dr. Nanda.
Well, I would like to thank you on behalf of the Policy Center and Gender Lab. And I also take the initiative to do that for Rakhi Bakshi and Her World India. We look forward to a more sustainable relationship with both of you and how we can take it forward. With Aditi, the Cluster Innovation Center does exist in Delhi University.
It is there?
Yes, it is there. So the skill enhancement courses that you're talking about, Miranda House can also join hands with you, and we can think of a multilingual, language lab kind of a proposal where we could engage with writing and publishing. So thank you for that, input. Kartika, I think your inputs were extremely valuable, and we will try to ensure a sustainable internship chain with you. Our young students are here, maybe a little hesitant to ask questions now, but if anyone wants to, maybe last words, they could get in touch with you.
Please come in. Please come in.
Anyone who wants to? Gargi, Ujjwal? Anyone wants to say something?
I can see Gargi's name. Gargi,
yeah, maybe they can't be unmuted or something.
Yes, you can unmute Gargi. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Am I audible, ma'am?
Yeah.
Good evening, ma'am. First of all, it was really a very informative session because I'm into the field of writing, and this has been, a great dilemma or a problem for me. So as to finding publishing houses and trying to reach out to them, then because of this issue, somehow, I dropped an idea of writing. Then, ma'am, but basically I here wanted to ask that, can we have a kind of a platform or a mechanism for promoting researching in, among the undergraduate students? Because I've seen that, like, there was a webinar that was conducted by University of Delhi. I had attended that, but I think there was a platform by Oxford or something, I don't remember right now, but they were only accepting research papers or research, articles written by people who were postgraduate. So something on these lines, if ma'am, anybody of you could guide me or guide us, or maybe in future we can have some sort of talk or webinars on these themes, it would be great.
I think an academic press would be the best for that. Yeah, an Oxford University Press or SAGE, people who actually work in that space.
Okay, so Gargi, I think that's the answer for you, that one can have a very focused kind of approach there. And I'm glad that you're eager to do all this. I think a lot of young women are, I think one of the challenges in pandemic was that they really wanted to do something. They were missing all this. And I'm sure that now as things are opening up, there is again this horizon open for you. So thank you, Gargi, for the question and being here.
Thank you so much.
To you again, Dr. Nanda, Kartika, and Aditi. We'll meet soon. And more power to both you women as the power punches are coming from Tokyo as well.
Yes, good.
So, enjoy your Saturday and take lots of care.
Thank you.
I am Rakhi here and my young team, of course, which is behind the scene, backstage, but I think there are a lot of these young women who work in my team. I thank all of them. In fact, Sneh, Ruchita, also Deepak, who are there, Mahika, Chandni, all of them. And thank you so much for being here to all of you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.